Clemson, I grew up in Savannah. This friend of mine went to Clemson, and I found out how Clemson got his name. And I don't know if many of you know this, but no, this is a true story. Clem used to be called Clem University. Now you may not know it. And the president a long time ago said that it doesn't have a ring of a greater institution of knowledge and learning, and he got the best faculty, some of the best students, the best alumni, and he put them in a think tank, and they came back and they said, this ought to be Clemson. Wow, he said, I really like this. I really like this. Well, how did you come up with that name? And they said, it's pretty easy. We added the letters S-O-N, the S stands for chivalry, the O for honor, and the N for knowledge. And that's Clemson University. So I do think that's true. But I really don't know where to start and stop. Charlene is the best thing that ever happened to me, and somebody told me that a minute ago. Their wife was the best thing that ever happened to them. In fact, we woke up this morning getting ready to come down here, and I looked over. We got a new house she bought about a year ago. 2 weeks later, she told me she bought it, and so I moved up there with her about 2 or 3 months ago, and so I woke up and I said, sweetheart, can you believe in your wildest dreams we've been together over 40 years? I mean, really, she's really pretty. And I said that to her. And she looked back at me and she says, you know, you're not even in my wildest dreams. So that's kind of the way it goes. I don't get a lot of respect, even at home. But I'm really glad to see all these PDGs and Wrightsville Club. And y'all been great to come out. Because I asked Frank, I said, with 1,580 clubs from where the area he told you about, it's hard to go to every club and speak in a 2-year time frame even. So, but Frank's a really good friend, and when he asked me to come, I just said, if you can get another club or two to come over, I'd be happy to come down there. So it is a real pleasure for me to be down here, and it's really special. I'm going to talk to you on my speech. I'm going to talk a little bit about Bobby Jackson and what he's doing in Sandersville, on how Lloyd and the Rotary clubs and Ron May have supported him over there, and I've gotten involved with him because of my church in Atlanta, Georgia, and it's a special story. But so I'm really glad to be here. Bill Gates says, I think this is one of the best quotes I ever heard, we cannot let children die because we are so fatigued. And I hear Rotarians sometimes say, it's been 30 years. And Charlene and I went to India, and we thought this was a big deal. You know, we kept giving money. We keep thinking about them and praying for them and rooting them on. In India, when we went 7 years ago, they do a worldwide polio immunization about 20 times a year. And here we're so tired of what we do. And so they're really doing the hard work. India got rid of it. When we went over there, they immunized, if you can believe this, 137 million children in 1 week. That's like half our population. Not half, we're about 360. But that's a big deal. And they have really gotten rid of it. So I think to clarify, that's who we are, and that's what Rotary's working on. I will say this, and I want you to really think about this. This I said to somebody about 1.5 years ago, and this guy told me about 6 months ago, you know, what you said really makes sense. Rotary is not a service organization with people. Rotary is not a service organization with people. Rotary is an organization of people who do service. There's a big difference. Rotary is an organization of people who do service. If you're members, I feel good when I go to my Rotary Club. I think they care for me and like me. They're at least nice to me. But that's why I go. I mean, I could do good in the world joining something else. But I do good in the world through Rotary because I really think I like the people I've gotten to know and meet. So anyway, that's what we do kind of on a board level. And I want to just share that with you. Let me say this. I think being an effective club, and you really are, you are known all around the state, I don't know about the world, but around the state of Georgia, as being an absolutely effective, successful Rotary Club. And I looked at this club, and I've looked at some other clubs, I looked at districts, and I said, why is a club or a district successful? What does it take? And I think there's only 3 things. It's pretty simple. It's basic. One is you got to have good leadership. You have to have good leadership. That the leader determines the culture. of the company, of the organization, of the association. People do not leave companies or organizations because of the products and services. Now you think about that. I do recruiting right now. I was in general manager with IBM. They leave because you don't care about me. Nick Saban, everybody knows him, Alabama. I read an article that 5 keys to leadership. You know what number 1 is? Let your people know you care for them. That's what he says. That's kind of basic, isn't it? This is the most important thing. You know, Jack Welch, who was a very successful leader at General Electric, absolutely, and I do reading on leadership, he said this question. I tell Rotary presidents and district governors, I don't really care if you know a lot about Rotary, but I think you're elected to be president of this club because you're a leader. Jack Welch says, if you're in the room, you're the CEO with your senior VPs, and you're sitting in a chair and you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong chair. The CEO should not be the smartest person in the room. The CEO should have the vision, should put the team together, set the direction, set goals with his team, her team. But they're the ones that are carried all out. Now, John Wooden, a coach at UCLA, that goes back a while. Nobody remembers him maybe, but pretty successful coach. He made a statement that the leaders ought to listen to. The key to the star is the rest of the team. So the CEO has to have a great team. But together, they serve different roles. And together, they move the organization forward. So leadership, to me, is critical to the culture of the organization and the success. The second is flexibility. I don't know if it's 4 months ago now or what, but Don Keogh, the COO of Coca-Cola, died. I remember it might be 5 or 6 months or something like that. Muhtar Kent, who's the CEO right now, became CEO, and he said to the board, I'll only be the CEO if Don Keogh is the COO. Don Keogh, when he retired, was asked to write a book about the 10 keys to business success. And I've got this book. A friend of mine in Atlanta, past chairman of Genuine Parts, Wilton Looney, gave me this book, and it's the 10 keys to business failure. And the number 1 key is don't take a risk. Don't take a risk. Keep doing the same things the Dublin Rotary Club did 60 years ago and think you're relevant to your members. Now, you don't do that, I know. But if you keep doing the same old things, you're not going to be relevant to members, you're not going to be relevant to your community. I tell people when I talk to some clubs, and I know it doesn't happen here, but you look at your club, I look at my club, and I say to myself, would I join this club today if I was not a member? And if I got a second thought, I ought to do something. I ought to do something. You know, we have in my club, now I know you won't tell anybody there I said this, but we have an annual awards dinner, or luncheon, I guess it is. Luncheon? Luncheon. And we had it the other day, and John Germ, the president of Rotary International, was there, and they wanted me to have him to the lunch, and the lunch only lasts 2.5 hours. I said, wait a minute. 2.5 hours? I don't want to sit through this thing again. And so I brought him out there for about 15 minutes, and we did recognize some people who really are terrific Rotarians. But 2.5 hour lunch, we ought to do something different. Nobody wants to do that. Look who wears ties in here. I'm the only one with a tie on, maybe. Well, maybe not. But there are not many of us with a tie on. The world changes. The world changes. You know, I read in one book, somebody said, it's harder to change than it is to raise the dead. Change is great. You go first, right? You've heard all these. But we have to stay relevant. We can't keep doing the same old stuff and think our members are going to want to come to our club to do things in the community. The last thing I'll say is continuity, and this is critical. And this club is great. I see a lot of club presidents, I see a lot of district governors, and they want to be the district governor again. They want to be the president when they're immediate past president. And don't cut it. Past district governors, past presidents ought to have one focus, to make the current president the best president this club's ever seen. and to keep this club moving forward. You know, Norman Schwarzkopf said this: great leaders do not have the most followers. They, what did I say, Charlene? They train, they develop the most leaders. You know, Charlene's great. I'm glad she's here. But you think about it. If you're not developing leaders in this club, your club is not going to be anywhere in 10 years. And I know you have great continuity of leadership in this club, and it's critical. That's pretty simple. And I think that's why your club really is a good club.